Alright, so hello people, this is Joseph Strickland on Facebook, you all know me. So, I wanted to do this for a long time. And once again, this is on this generation and why it's ruined. Keep that in mind. I'm gonna be ranting on the same fucking topic, I don't give a shit. Yeah, I'm gonna be ranting on the same relationship until it fucking goes away. So there you have it. And I know many people don't like the word rant now, I think they just say make a video about. So I am going to make a video about swag and this generation and why it's ruined. Now let me start off by reading something off of Yahoo UK or whatever. So here is something from a guy named Brian, and I don't even know this guy's last name, so who cares? This generation is the worst in many things. I think overall it is the most immature. You have bad music and overrated songs and artists. Then you have relationships in general that are worse than before. In fact, now it's just what one person can get out of something. Really, how can a pretty woman be interested in marrying someone like Lil Wayne? Yet, if any other guy would approach them nicely, they wouldn't even give the guy another look. Now it's shit on the nice people. Go after the jerks, sluts, bad people, easy people, and complain about them and long for a nice person to settle down with. It's all about partying, getting wasted, and not thinking about your future. I can go on, but you get the idea. Yes, I have to agree with this fucking post. Sure, I stumbled a little bit and I didn't know where I was. But, that's the thing. Ladies, this is one of the things I have to rant on, and I'm sorry, or have to, do my thing on. This generation is immature. Right? Yeah, it is, literally. This is the most immature generation I've ever seen. And, people tell me I'm immature. Yeah, that's not the case. But, yes, there is bad music in this generation. Absolutely terrible. Swag is one of these things where it's ruining this generation because, let's take a look at relationships, alright? You women are interested in marrying someone like Lil Wayne or Drake or some really popular rapper or some attractive guy. And you look down on the nice guys because you think that they're too nice and that they don't deserve a girlfriend. Yeah, okay then. I don't deserve a girlfriend, huh? What the fuck has this generation come to? Back then, all the women wanted was love, not sex, not fucking douchebags and bullshit. They wanted love back in the day. And it should be the same way now. You know what? This is all the women do. When a nice guy comes up to the women, the women don't even want to do anything with them. The women don't want anything to do with them. When a fucking douchebag or a jerk comes up and they're attractive as fuck, they want to go out with them instead of going out with the nice guy because, look, this is the bullshit I hate in this generation. Ladies, you shouldn't be going out with fucking jerks. I swear to fuck. And don't tell me not to tell you what to do because I'm going to anyway. It's the truth. You ladies decide. You want to go out with jerks. bad boys and all that shit. That is bullshit and I fucking hate it. Alright? Listen. Why are you interested in marrying a fucking douchebag or a rapper or something like that? When the nice guy comes up to you and he really wants to love you and go out with you and he respects you. But as soon as you turn on him, he doesn't respect you anymore. All he does is go home and just thinks about you all the time. Because you don't want him. And he thinks about you all the time. And what his future would be like with you. And his future would be absolutely fine. If you weren't so fucking immature, maybe you would go out with a fucking guy who actually cares about you. You get me? You feel me? But yeah, that's what I have to say there. I don't know how this fucking generation, but this generation's worse than the last. Swag has ruined it, and it's really terrible. So yeah, it's just the worst thing ever. Just gonna say that it's the worst thing ever. Now, I feel like swag is probably the worst thing in this generation because it's really a simplistic word. But it's just a word. It's not really a word of cool. People think swag means style or cool or something like that. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. If you want to say you have style, say you have style. If you want to say you got bling, say you got bling. Just say you got bling. If you want to say that you're hip hop or gangsta, say you're hip hop and gangsta. Don't say I have swag. What is that? Swag? No. This has been around for way too long. And I think it's about time we change this generation back into the old school. Because the old school generation was better. And let's face it, we can still have today's technology. I don't mind that. I don't mind today's technology. That's all good. That's all fine and dandy. But the old school generation consists of people making 90s to early 2000s hip-hop like songs. And I think that would be great for up-and-coming rappers and hip-hoppers because let's look at the 90s firsthand. The 90s were not all that bad, but they weren't my type of era. Now, the 90s were cool because of the way that rap and hip-hop got popular. And so it did. Tupac, Biggie, Eazy-E, Ice Cube, and all that stuff. Public Enemy. Cannot forget those guys. But, in the 2000s, you got Nelly, 50 Cent, and Ja Rule, and Ashanti, and all this good hip-hop stuff. But then you get to 2006, and then you hear the word swag, and you're like, what is swag? What is this? What is this? And then you're just like, well, I don't even know what he means by that. Does he mean he has lots of money? Does it mean he has cars? Does it mean he has some sort of style? Well, we all found out in the 2010s that swag meant style. And then you see these guys go around wearing skinny jeans, tight t-shirts, saying swag, YOLO, and all this stuff. And I just see how far that this generation has fallen. It has fallen dramatically, badly, really, really bad. I mean, just it's a lowdown, really, to think about it. But this generation's really, really bad. I mean, it's the worst generation out of out of all of the generations that had concluded. Now, I wasn't even born in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, or 80s because I don't know about them. But out of the 90s, 2000s, late 2000s, well, the 90s, late not, oh god damn it, the early 90s, the late 90s, the early 2000s, and the mid 2000s, the late 2000s, and the 2010s. The 2010s has to be the worst era right now. Has to be the worst. But starting back in late 2006, it started to go downhill. So, what I mean by this is, swag started in 2006. I don't know when, middle or end of it. It really doesn't matter there because I didn't know what the word meant at the time. And really, I don't know who else was saying it besides Jibs. Now, he started the whole fiasco of that, and oh my god, it just got so overused, and it got overused in hip hop music, and it got overused when people were saying it a lot. It got overused when people started saying it in the late 2000s, and then they ruined hip hop because Jibs was the first one to get the hip hop ruined, but the hip hop was actually ruined by Soulja Boy. Now, Soulja Boy was really, really bad. I think he was terrible rapper. Now, I think Jibs was just as bad, if not worse, because he only had one hit, which was Chain Hang Low. Yeah, that one. I did hear swag in it, and I never knew what it meant. So, yeah, it was just awful. Really awful. Now, when we get to the 2010s, it has been so overused, and people were even speculating in 2009, 2010, and 2011 that it was just a fad and it was going to go away sooner or later. Look where we are now, and look where it is. It's still here, and it's still not going away, and it's just pathetic. It's dumb. It's not what I want to see. Alright? This has to be the worst generation in all of the history that I have lived through. Out of the early 90s to now, this has to be the worst generation. The last generation of the 2000s was actually better. And believe it or not, you never heard the word swag back then. You never heard YOLO back then. You never heard any of that stuff. You heard what people were consistent of. And you were hearing Snoop Dogg in his rap songs back in the day saying nizzle, shizzle, dizzle. Oh, there you go. Hey, Poppy. That was my grandfather, by the way. Anyway, you heard Snoop Dogg saying nizzle, dizzle, sizzle, shizzle, dizzle, whatever. And he was pretty different for hip hop. And even back in the 90s, Snoop Dogg was good. I liked him back in the 90s. I thought he was pretty good. Now, in the early 2000s, I think he got a little bit better. Because, well, Snoop Dogg's popular and all that stuff. But nowadays, I don't think that Lil Wayne, Drake, and Rick Ross and Wiz Khalifa can even carry the hip hop shit. I think they're just terrible. Truly, my favorite Wiz Khalifa mixtape or whatever was his first one back in 2005. And after his first mixtape, I think it went to crap. So, you know, it was terrible. This was a terrible era, and it still is. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to speculate why this generation is just so bad. And there may be a part 2, so hang on to your ass and just wait for part 2 to come out. Cause it just might come out after this video uploads. And this time I'll be talking about the fashion, so don't worry about that.